Hello, my name is Ash Gonzales, and you're listening to Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective and Norrin's Cat, an awesome community of card collectors, creators and felines. You can find our two groups on Facebook, on Catbook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come check us out. With me as... Oh my goodness me. Somebody get that cat out. Right.
Sorry, I got her.
With me, as always, is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards. Ashes to ashes, funk to funky. My friend Fausto is a surfer junkie. It's Norrin Rad.
Oh, I love that one. Okay, I like that. That's good. That's good. Worked in both parties of this. I love it. Awesome.
That's right. Took me all of 5 minutes.
Genius works quickly with you, my friend.
It does. I might have been on the toilet when I did it. I'm just going to open a window. Excuse me if this makes a noise, but I'm roasting. That's better. Happy Independence Day.
Oh, this is awkward. Sorry. But yeah, it is our Independence Day. So
yes, that's all right. We're better off without you, quite frankly.
Oh, wow. That's rude.
I shouldn't have actually said that. You guys gave us Marvel in the first place and then trading cards.
You're welcome, which I'm taking sole responsibility for being on this side of the microphone.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's not just us this morning. It is, as my rather clumsy intro alluded to, a rather fine-looking young man, because this is the first time I've laid eyes on him, and even though it's, oh my God, it's early where he is, my goodness, he's delectable on the eye. Ash Gonzales, good morning to you.
Hi, everyone. What's up, guys?
Hey, man.
So Ash, you're in Texas, are you?
Yes, sir.
So it's what, 8 something in the morning for you?
28, 25, give or take. Yeah. It's early in the morning. But
this is the dedication. This is the dedication of the people that bring you the Marvel Card Collectors podcasts, presenters and guests alike. They should be very, very grateful for your service, Ash. So Ash, I know very, very little about you. All I know is that you're a man of mystery. All I know is that people are going absolutely crazy for your work on Marvel sketch cards. How's that feel?
It hasn't sunk in yet. I'm trying to push it back as much attention that I do get, but I think I'm leaving it up to like not really trying to pay attention to just stay focused on the work. So I don't want nothing to interrupt what's going on in here that would go on the card covers. So, but it's nothing crazy. But it is a little overwhelming just to come out with one set and then all of a sudden, like, wow, pretty interesting. Yeah,
it is interesting, and it is something. I mean, we've seen it before. When I guess it's like with most artists, what I find is it's like a 10, 20 year overnight success, as in they've been grafting at it for so long, but then all of a sudden they're on the Marvel card scene, and people think that they're brand new to things, but obviously, you've been around for a while. I know you've been doing sketch covers for a while. So tell us about your background, how you got to the point where you started working on the Marvel sets.
All right, so years ago, I was how can I even start this?
Well, you were a small child. Let's start years ago. You were a small child.
Too far.
Notice on some of your podcasts, you say, "What's your origin story?" So, I would say back in the '90s, I started collecting the Marvel masterpieces because I thought those were really awesome. Even the comic book versions, because I love flipping through the comic books and just looking at all the paintings. And I was collecting a lot of cards, trading them for like sandwiches and Post-its, and then trading cards at elementary, because it was in elementary school, I think, at the time. And and then collected baseball cards and all that jazz, and then got off of that, and then started collecting comic books crazy, and then I stopped, and then I started getting into art around when I was a junior in high school, and then kind of went in through there, started doing comic books just on my own, and then won some awards, went through this session to teach me how to oil paint. So that's where I picked that up during high school. Mm-hmm. So then I was like thinking, what am I going to do when I graduate? I love Pixar, Disney. So I figured I contacted the Art Institute of Houston. They kind of persuaded me, yeah, we could do comic book work. So they got me into 3D animation, which is fine. And so they basically taught me everything that I needed to know to become a graphic designer. I'm fast forwarding through a lot of years, like 5 or 6. And then, so while I'm doing graphic design for companies and stuff, I started doing the Comic-Con scene. And that's, so I would do my graphic design during the day, and then I would paint at night. So I had an idea of just starting off like taking certain movies and just stuff I enjoyed, painting portraits and all that jazz. And then, so I did around 8 shows a year, at least for 3 years. And then I picked up like 1 or 2 clients that were really great. It's like, hey, how about you do these blank covers? And I didn't know nothing about blank covers at all. So I was like, yeah, I'll take a snap at it. And then that started slowly growing. And then fast forwarding through a bunch of drama and life and all that jazz, I decided to go work at Disney for some stupid reason. Okay. And yeah, because I ended up leaving a $70,000 job to go work as a housekeeper. And but not really. I wasn't a housekeeper. I was a house person. Okay. And so I was helping the housekeepers. And so I needed to get my foot in the door. Short story to that was that when I was at San Diego, my first time being at San Diego, which is hell to begin with, that was the craziest show I've ever done in my life. But it was fun. I met someone from Disney that kind of gave me the hookup to get my foot in the door, if that per se, you know? So they said, as long as you can get here, then we can start to talk and try to work your way in and all that jazz. So lo and behold, I did all that. I was so I had to think of something. So I thought while I'm at the resorts, I would paint like 4x5 watercolor paintings of whatever resort I'm at. Like I started off at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I would paint Lion King, anything related to that theme. And it would just be like a character and it said, welcome home. And I would leave it in the room every time I would have to go in there and inspect it and then walk out. So it was just a little something fun. I didn't leave any information on it. It wasn't, they would have never known it was me. I just did it for like fun, you know, like a little, just to expand the magic, you could say, for Disney or whatever. And I did that at that resort, and at the second resort, Wilderness Lodge. That was a fun one. So then, look and behold, I started off at the as the opening team for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, nice.
That was fun. And so I was excited about that. And I started building lightsabers for everyone. Fast forward on that. So that's basically the whole time I was there. That's all I did was help build lightsabers for anybody that came in as a gatherer for Savi's workshop. And I think through that job, I gained a lot of speed and stuff to reorganize everything. That basically I took that into my art, and because that was just it was a headache, but it was fun at the same time because it was brand new. We were also like coming up with new ways to do the job, you could per se,
Yeah.
And I rode the Millennium Falcon like 1 billion times, so that was a fun job. So while that was going on, there is a true story about Disney employees, and I was one of them. I was living in my car at the time, and so I was homeless, and you could say, but and working in a shed that in the evening when I got off work, that's where I would do my covers. So I would sneak in, do my covers in the shed, and then an air conditioned storage, unit. Yeah. And that was a weird time because
sounds like it.
Because me and my wife or ex-wife at the time we were going through. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of drama and all that jazz, but I'm not going to talk about that. But it did gave me a different perception about life, and also the grind of getting some work done in order to achieve your goals. So while that was going on, I mean, I was sending money to her, and I was sending money to my current wife at the time right now. And so I had everything going this way, and it's just in Florida is just a little too much to live in. And I wasn't ready to leave Disney at the time because I was also I got the opportunity to do some art at Disney, which was the whole goal of me going over there. And I was determined and to do something, So I got to do that. It was fun. I saw a lot of crazy stuff that I would have never thought. There's some buildings out there that are like tucked away in the woods, and it's okay to talk about that, but they're tucked away, and I would have never known these buildings existed, but out there's some real magic going on for some very expensive people. And the stuff that you see, the stuff that I saw was pretty crazy. Like it was just movie stuff being built for these families whenever they just want to have fun or whatever. And I got like on this special project, and I'll tell you all later off camera. But so I was always keeping money up for doing covers in the shed and doing Disney at the same time. So I was thinking, man, what else can I do? I was, to make more income and to maybe get my work out there. So I thought, I remember this guy told me at the show, it's like, hey, yeah, you should get into doing cards. I was like, what? Cards? And some blank cards. And it's the same concept that my other client came to me about blank comics. I never thought about doing blank cards. So I contacted Upper Deck just randomly. I contacted Upper Deck, Topps, I think Cryptic or whoever does Rick and Morty or something like that. And,
Cryptozoic. Yeah.
Yeah, Cryptozoic. And then then lo and behold, Upper Deck calls me or emails me, and they offer me say, hey, well, we got this project coming up. Would you be interested? Can't talk about it right now. We're gonna in a couple months. And that was in November 2019. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I left in December, Disney, to come back to Texas. And then they contacted me around there. I was like, yeah, we've got Marvel Masterpieces coming up. Would you be interested in doing that? I was like, yeah, sure. really simple. Sure. I have nothing else to do. Come on. So I finished the set in May. Did not know what to expect. And then I was sold out on cards the next day. All my APs. Out of nowhere, people just started coming out of nowhere. And it's like, hey, you got APs? I heard you got APs. Do you have APs? the set just dropped. I want all your APs. And I didn't know nothing. I wasn't planned. I know how to set pricing for covers, and I was trying to get engaging with other people of like how much they price out their cards, and I didn't know the markup. Like I didn't know not the markup, but the, what do you call it? Like how much people really love cards and art, sketch cards. I did not know nothing about that. So all of a sudden I see my Instagram messages. I was like, do you have any APs? Do you have any APs? Do you have any APs? And one guy came out of nowhere and said, hey, can you have all your APs? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll sell them all to you. And then the next day I get an onslaught. Oh, dang it. Maybe I could have never sold it. But it's fine. He's probably out there. Hugo. And he got all my APs. Other than that, everything started blowing up. Everybody's sending me, not everybody, I'm just saying, a lot of people started sending me like their own APs, and it just went on from there. And then I kept getting calls from Upper Deck. Do you want to do Crow? Do you want to do Dinosaurs? Do you want to do another Marvel? Do you want to do Black Diamond? Do you want to do another Black Diamond? Do you want to do another Black Diamond? I'm like, okay. Yeah. Well, I was like, is this enough? I was like, no, just take everything. I'm like, okay. I'll take everything. So, and it just keeps going from there. So yeah, it was fun. And then, so what I took from the covers, because I normally draw from life and from realistic reality. So I took what I did for the covers and I basically put it on the cards. And then, and then from there, that's what makes it fun for me. And I went from there. And that's basically a very short synopsis of my origin story to the cards.
What I like is the fact that you know there's that GIF where there's this guy who's clearly jonesing for his next fix, and he's like, you got any of those APs, man? You got any APs? You know, that's kind of how I saw it in my mind's eye. But seriously, that's how keen, as I'm sure you've now realised, that's how passionate sketch collectors are.
I did not know that. And
they go absolutely crazy.
Yeah, the guy warned me, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "But it was pretty exciting." I was like, "Wow, this is cool," because I can turn this around. The turnaround time is really great for me, and it's really cool. Granted, I had to adjust to drawing something a lot smaller, but that's no big deal. And for the client, it's a lot better. The one thing I'm starting to realize and notice that Upper Deck is taking a long time to approve APs, and I did not know about that process, and I feel bad for the clients that have to wait, because I'm kind of a stickler, I guess, because since I'm new to this, I don't like to rock boats, but especially for those that are providing some work, which is Upper Deck for me, and so I'm wondering the process of approving APs for the APs that I've done. But I mean, that's just, I guess, a process. I mean, I'm hearing from clients that it takes a year and forever to get approved, but no big deal. I mean, I guess that's just the way it is.
Yeah. A lot of that, my understanding is a lot of that's not necessarily Upper Deck as well. It's it's Marvel. So how have you so I'm just trying to think, because that kind of all coincided really with the world going to for all intents and purposes. So how was that? Because I imagine if you're moving back to Texas and then obviously you've got the cards and you can just head down and get on with it, because let's face it, you couldn't really go out for it. I mean, I know Texas maybe have done things slightly differently to some other states based on what I've seen on the news, but generally speaking, everyone's kind of not going out and doing that much interacting with people for a bit, and certainly cons aren't.
I'm a hermit, so yeah, I could dig a hole in the ground and stand there forever. But it's funny because right when I left in December, the virus hit, and it's like I dodged a bullet. It was crazy, but I didn't know what to expect. So I was still talking to all my friends over there, and it was like, yeah, we're all masked up. We're like masked up, shield up, tourniquet, everything. And actually, that was a little months after, but when I did talk to them, everybody was laid off, of course. I mean, or furloughed. And I was like, ew, I would have been screwed. But my time at Disney, I loved it. I mean, I went to the parks every day, walked, I lost a lot of weight, and I mean, I didn't have weight to lose, but it was fun. But when I came back to Texas during the pandemic, it was fine because I mean, I was here with my wife and my new daughter, and I didn't do anything, and I had plenty of covers to do. The clients that I had were still kind of rocking and rolling with their business. It was sad to see other businesses shed away in Texas, but and then of course Upper Deck kept me busy. I was surprised by that, by the whole pandemic and all that jazz. So it was fine. It was good, and I wasn't ready to go back to work anyway, and because after doing Disney and finally doing something that I really wanted to always do, and I didn't think it was going to ever get to this point, I was happy, man.
Yeah, good. What I find interesting then, so you obviously your goal, you kind of ended up that goals you wanted to work for Disney on the creative side of things, and it sounds like you ended up at that point with obviously leaving there and then coming back to Texas and then getting into cards and still doing your covers. What's the goal now? You know, where's your kind of direction? What's your
Yeah. It's kind of...
Sorry, I went deep there, didn't I? Sorry.
Like I was being interviewed. What's your 5-year plan?
Yeah, so tell us why you'd like to work for us.
So it's right now I'm just kind of rocking and rolling because it's one of those things where I guess I'm not superstitious, but it's like I'm happy and blessed, but I don't want to rock that karma in a sense. You know? So I'm happy with what I'm getting, and I'm not gonna rock a boat and just see how this stream of river goes, and how far it can float me down the river, you know. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what my one goal is though. I'm who's not a Star Wars fan, but I mean I'm always a Star Wars fan, but to get tops, see if I can at least get some kind of a set for tops, but just that's kind of like I mean, I've seen the art that they do, some of the art I really like, but just like a notch, you know.
Well, your style would match perfectly with that. Mm-hmm. I mean, looking at the covers, looking at everything you've done, and you know, I mean, your level of realism and what you can do with like metals and plastics and the reflexiveness and everything like that. I mean, it's killer, bro. So, I mean, they'd be idiotic not to have you, man. That'd be crazy to see you on a Star Wars set. That'd be really cool.
Tops.
Tops.
It's fun. I love it. I always would get my just be fun to do Rick and Morty. And I would like to do it in a style, just for kicks to see how I can pull that off. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my Instagram lately. I'm kind of my mind's kind of blown for what I got to do in the month of July. So
yeah, I saw the delivery that you've just had. It's your most recent post. For those who haven't seen it, describe to us what's in the post that you put up last night, I think.
Oh, yeah, I put it up. Yeah, I put it up. So, around 40 regular sketch cards. I think 4 or 5 4x6 little panel cards, and you got the elongated cards, and then you got the extra elongated cards, and then you got the books. And I'm like, oh gosh, the books. So. And I think it was like 4 or 5 of them of each of those sets. So that on top of the Marvel annual that I'm doing right now.
Oh, wow.
And there's a secret project I'm still not to talk about. I got 40 I got extra of those cards, they wanted me to do extra, and for some stupid reason, I said yes. It's okay. I love it. And
For some stupid reason, I said yes.
it's okay. I'll pull it off in some way. And what else I got? Oh, and I got. I think I can talk about it. Tarot cards. I think I did some 7 sin cards. 7 deadly sins a while back. They sent me some tarot cards, so I got those to do, and I'm like, that's kind of way out my wheelhouse. I wouldn't know what to do, but I kind of like that. It's like I'm not afraid to push away from what I'm kind of used to, so I don't mind that.
I mean, being a graphic designer, man, tarot cards and that kind of stuff, that's good. I mean, I could see you doing something crazy cool, especially
it sounds pretty interesting. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Drop some mushrooms.
Oh, and then
fine.
Yeah. And then I got Comic-Con this month in Houston, so I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh wow.
16th and 17th, but it's fine. I'm glad they brought it down to 2 days. It used to be 4 days. Now it's 2 days because of the pandemic. But that'll be fun. I'll just sit there and just draw cards. It's like, oh, you don't have nothing to stop. I'm way too busy. I'm just here to say hi.
Yeah.
Just to hang out.
Yeah, I'm just here for the cosplay.
And then just write, just draw.
Because I'm looking at this picture and it's, I mean, I know what the set it is. You haven't said it in your post what set it is, but it's a picture, so I'm going to say what set it is. I mean, it's clearly Premiere 2021. You've got your stack of singles there. I'm guessing there's some APs over there. Then you've got the doubles, the booklets, the 4x6. Then you've got the 3 panels and then the 4 panels. Wow. Yeah, that'll keep you busy.
Beast.
Okay.
Just beast.
Good. I imagine you've already sold all your APs from it then.
No. I'm holding on to them. Everybody that's contacted me so far, I told them I'll sell off in August. I'm not too sure if I'll do a raffle or first come first serve, but just to say focus on the work.
I think so.
There are some clients, just like a trickle. Here and there that I work with, but just to get some APs out. But other than that, like a big bulk of it, I'm going to wait till August and go.
Get the set done first. I mean,
that's smart.
I mean, so this will be what let's think. So Masterpieces 2020 was your first one, and then Black Diamond.
I think Marvel Ages.
Oh, did you do Marvel Ages? Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that was the second one, and they gave me like 3 onslaughts of Black Diamond, and then that was it for all the Marvel stuff that I've done for them so far up until now. And then, but between that, they gave me a weird one. What I would have never thought is like outer space, and so I did a lot of galaxies and nebulas and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these APs. I mean, I can only. I was like going to sneak in like a little Silver Surfer or something, Galactic or whatever, like a little head floating. So a client, it's like just do a streak in the very faint. Just very
hands
faint
out.
Outline, and I was like, it'll be denied. It'll be disapproved.
Probably.
I love it.
Ego, the living planet.
A big planet with a face on it. What is that? No.
Why do you have a planet with a goatee? What is going on there, Ash? It's weird. And
then Crow was fun. And then I did dinosaurs. I thought that was pretty interesting. And then that was about it. Some random stuff there.
As we touched on Ego, have you seen as we record, what's tomorrow's Marvel Unbound card is going to be? So do you know of Marvel Unbound?
I never heard of that.
Okay, so what it is, it's exclusive to Upper Deck's EPAC platform. So they're physical cards, but you can't get them in stores, so you can buy them. So it's a release that's only on EPAC, and every week, and it's kind of like the Topps Living set that they do. So they release every week, and it's one artist, and it's the French artist. It turns out there's two of them. Who knew? Called Fred Ian. So I don't know if you've seen his work, and he. Well, I'm going to send it to you in the chat while we talk in a moment. If I can find it, simply because it's incredible. And Fred Ian is kind of up there, in terms of the artists that people dig, and he's been doing sketch cards for how long's he been doing sketch cards for? Maybe 4 or 5 years now.
For some time now. So he did basically a set of 50 paintings. Yeah, so the first 50 week. Yeah. So basically each week a new painting is in the form of a card, and they release it on ePack, and there's a limited amount and people can buy them. So just coincidentally enough, this week was Ego, the Living Planet, that he did. So that's something that just recently was announced for him. But yeah, he did like 50 pieces, but it's going to be like an ongoing, I'm sure you'll hear about this with the work you've done. I'm sure you'll hear about this soon.
Oh yeah.
But with the Marvel Unbound stuff, he did the first 50, and then it'll alternate between artists. So it's called Marvel Unbound, which has been pretty cool.
And people are going crazy for it. But the reason I kind of mention it is because there's a lot of it's bizarre. There's some artists that people go absolutely crazy for. Now, you are now in that club, sir, as we kind of alluded to. But people really dig your style, and love. And you're certainly the cards that have come out, certainly the ones I saw for Masterpieces, where people were paying good money for them, like, really good money for them.
I was shocked on eBay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I appreciate it, everybody.
So now send some directly to the artist. I'm trying to talk and type at the same time. What's the name of the lady who represents Kirby? There we go. Sorry, I just realised I've sent you a link to it in the chat, to the Ego that we were talking about. But the picture of the card is so tiny, and it's not on. It's not on that. Anyway, the reason I touched on that, and it occurred to me to touch on that, is because Fred Ian's work is considered to be at that kind of top end as well. So when he does his sketch card APs, he just draws what he wants to on them and then puts them on eBay and just lets it go. He won't take AP commissions at all.
Wow.
He simply doesn't do it. So there's a potential route for you, and I'm sure all the people who are thinking of getting an AP for you are going, stop it. But yeah, I mean, would you, if Upper Deck turned around to you tomorrow and said, would you be interested in doing some base card art, for example? Or, bigger pieces that would be incentives, because they, on ePack especially, for collectors, the first 10 collectors, for example, who might get a certain set, will get an exclusive piece of one-of-a-kind, thing, whatever it may be. Now, if they turn around to you tomorrow and kind of started offering you that next kind of level of involvement, is that something you'd be?
I'll be on it like glue. I mean, because that would... I mean, bread and butter is I love oil painting. So in all my cards, it's just nothing but, it's all color pencil. It's all Prismacolor. And I don't take the time to do an oil painting on a card. That'd be crazy. And not to those other artists that paint on the card directly. That's great. It's just the drying time and all this other stuff. And with all the cards that I get so far, I gotta turn it out quick. So, but something that scale, I love it, because I've gotten a couple of commissions since the cards that I get to work on a 16 by about the same size that Dave did his paintings.
Oh yeah,
and when I saw his work, that's crazy that he came from Magic Guitar, and then all of a sudden he does all this stuff, and I'm like, yes. That looks
yes.
I totally forgot what I just did, and I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. So, and but to work on that scale, I love it because a lot more goes into it. It's just flowing with the oil painting. It's like heaven to me. But yeah, I would love it. Yeah, just Upper Deck.
I love it. Just give it.
and
So we know that Upper Deck have the ones that. Oh my goodness me! So it's a big ass spider just crawled in through my skylight. Wow!
Coming in with shut up.
You two talk to each other. I've just got to get this spider away.
You got it, buddy. While Ian participates and stars in his own horror movie, Ash. So you're a realist. You're into realism. That's the kind of artist you are. I mean, I've seen you do other stuff on your Instagram, and it varies and it's great. I also love the lighting you're able to do. Like, there's this Darth Maul, and the lighting is like super great. He's like yelling with his lightsaber in his hand, and it's just like just captured the light, gorgeous. What are some of your favorite celebrities to draw for like these superheroes and some of the harder ones? Because Margot Robbie is amazing. So like I've seen you do a couple of different ones of her and you're just really good. So I just want to know what your favorite, what's the most difficult one?
Most difficult one. Let me get to my couple pictures. I could probably tell you my most difficult one though. My favorite one, it's not really toned down to my favorite one, because I will tell you this: my favorite ones are actors that haven't signed Chevy Chase or
Chevy Chase,
like difficult ones that somehow one guy gets that signature on a blank, and it's like the Holy Grail, and I get to work on it, and that's I got one of those. One of my clients, he has a huge one. It's the whole National Lampoon cast from the first movie, and he keeps me busy, and I'm like, hey, what's up with that Lampoon cover? It's like, not yet. He keeps getting like signatures ready for other people that are coming out right now. Because like right now, I have 3 of them from him. I have to do De Niro.
Wow.
What's her name? The girl from Black Panther. She was on Us. Lupita.
Oh.
And
can't remember now.
Oh yeah. And the other one is that actress that was the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland, the movie. Forgot her name. She was in Fight Club.
Yeah,
Carter.
Carter. Yeah, Boom Cart. She was in Sweeney Todd. Oh my God, Helen
Bonham Carter.
That's it.
Yes. So I got those 3 covers, and they're all due in this month. So I got those covers and then the card sets. But wow. But doing actors and actresses that haven't signed or haven't even done nothing, that's the more interesting part. There was a hard, and I can't even think about right now because I'll tell you right now, it's a fun one. My favorite one. I haven't got to it yet, but I have it in my closet. It's let's see if I can show y'all.
I love it.
He signed it. It's a signed cover. It's blank, but that's going to be the picture that's on the cover, and it's waiting to go. Yeah, and believe it or not, I've done a couple of Seinfelds, and those are like the most interesting covers that everybody seems to like.
Your Newman is crazy awesome. Like, the Newman is hilarious. I love that. I love the Jurassic Park Newman. I love the Seinfeld Newman. I think it's great, man.
But what covers are you doing them on? Because there isn't a Seinfeld comic, is there?
No. It's just any blank that has a lot of space. Frankly don't. It's one of my clients. He gets just nothing but Walking Dead covers. Because it's just a lot of white space, and it's good paper. That's the main thing. As long as it's good paper, that glossy, shiny. That's the most difficult paper to work with. As long as it has white space, I don't care. Because a lot of people ask, why are you drawing that on an X-Men cover? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I paint over the whole thing, and you're never gonna know, and you're not gonna want to open it. You're not gonna want to mess up the mint condition. So
you're right.
So it sounds to me like one of my 5 blank Black Cat #1 covers might need to be held back for use whenever you get through your
wheels are working.
Nightmare. Oh yeah. Well, seriously, I'm mentally allocating those. I think there might be one left now after this. I mean, I'm assuming you'd even want to do it, but yeah, because I look at the way you draw Cat, and I just get a bit giddy.
Great.
And I know you mentioned on Instagram that you get asked for a lot as well.
I'll tell you that right now. I'll give you a little tidbit. I'll probably show you later. But I think on I have to do a puzzle piece. So it's 4 cards that you have to match up.
Yeah.
And one of those is a black cat.
I'll
show you.
I absolutely love. What I love is and this is why you'd be so good on the Star Wars sets, because your facial,
killer.
The way you do the faces. I mean, there's a Christina Applegate from Married with Children in here that's just nailed it.
Yeah,
she's the best. That to me is such a good series that she's in. She's on that show, and it's just such an underrated show. But the one that kills me, I think my favorite so far that I've seen, is the and hopefully I'm saying this right, from Batman, Kim Basinger, Vicky Vale.
Yes. That was awesome.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and I don't mean to make you blush or anything, but that is killer. That is an insane. That is beautiful, man.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. The fun part is that because one of my main clients that does a lot of these signings, he just lets me go. Yeah, just find whatever cover you want, whatever picture you want, whatever looks good. Because I have to take into account, I have to look at the signature of the actress and actor and see what that looks like, and then the space where it might go, and then if it looks good. Because sometimes their signature is a work of art itself. It looks nice. Some of it just looks like you. I mean, crying out loud. And so I take that into a lot of account, and I figured I don't think it's still. I think it's still grading that cover. So because I know it's already been sent off and signed, but for where we placed it, it's going to look really good. And then especially if we want gold or silver, so it all comes together in the end. And it comes out nice.
I mean, you obviously have to be so aware of, because I'm assuming just reading the bio and what you can do and where your many talents lie is, being able to get an image on that cover and still grade the comic book high. I mean, that's crazy.
That was a process in itself. I had to make this little contraption where if the client just wants a front part, my sleeve that I made doesn't dirty the back at all. And I noticed a lot of artists, a lot of professionals, I hate to say that, they just go at it, and the back of it looks like it just went through the floor of a trash bag. And that kind of turned into another avenue for me, which was nice. It basically became a comic doctor in a sense, where a lot of clients would contact me and say, "Hey, can you fix this cover? It's a 9.4. I want it at a 9.8 at least." Yeah, I can probably get it there. I mean, the most simplest thing I can do is just paint on it. That's the most simplest thing you can probably ever do. But it's just depending on if there's a dent, if the creases are ruffled. I think I've done this long enough to see what CG looks for. But it really don't matter. It's really hard because at the same time, CGC, you don't know what judge what person you're going to get to grade it, because one person could be a stickler and then the other person could be like, I see a little speck, and then all of a sudden 9.7 or 9.5. But I think there's and I'm not boasting. It's just everything that I've sent in it's pretty much come back a 9.8. There's been like maybe one or two that have come back, but when we pressed them, they went and they got a 9.8, so it's fine. It's just
I mean, that is crazy. I mean, especially for what you do, what you do in sketch covers. I mean, that's extremely important, man. Hats off to you for figuring that out, because that's like wearing many hats, man. It's crazy cool.
I would just sitting down and talking to clients and knowing what they know, like what they look for, because some clients, I mean, most of the clients that I have, they're really, especially one of them, he's a very good friend. He just wants nothing but 9.8. He don't care what cover he goes on. He wants 9.8, and I'm all for that. So I learned a lot from him to what to look for, and he has a really good eye. And because if I miss it, then I give it to him, and he looks at it and he's like, "Hey, just cover this. You might want to cover up with a little heavier paint." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that," and then we go from there.
Smart. Wow, that's awesome.
I've just got to. I'm fine, by the way. I got the spider out. Thanks for asking.
Hey.
Wait a minute. What's
put the spider in?
Well, it's what I put the spider in. I put it in this BB-8 tin that I've had knocking around. I put him in there and then chucked him back out the window from whence he came. So this BB-8 tin, by the way, is on its way to Greg of the Rebel Base Card podcast. And there's a podcast, Ash. If you're going to check out one other podcast, that's a good other idea. Than ours, Greg McLaughlin presents a podcast that's he's a couple of episodes ahead of us, actually, called the Rebel Base Card, and it's about Star Wars trading cards.
Based car, okay.
And he is a lovely guy. You never know. He might know who to speak to at Topps.
Yeah, man. But, I mean, it might be good because if Topps checks him out, because I know they like do stuff with him or whatever. Yeah, it might be great to get on that show, man. You know what I mean? Like just for whatever, because it's definitely a shame that you're not on there, because the realism just, it fits perfectly in there. It's very cool. It's
absolutely just fit. I mean, listen, I don't want to see you not do cat sketch cards for the rest of your life, but you know, if you're going to do something else, then as Star Wars is good. I was scrolling through your Instagram and I've just reached possibly the most mind-bending crossover of IPs that I've ever seen. I'm looking at a Star Wars Darth Vader sketch cover with the Breakfast Club.
Okay, wait a minute.
You have to scroll down pretty far. It's below the Disney Welcome Home stuff, which, by the way, Ash, if I was checking into a Disney... Now, I've never been to a Disney resort. Well, I'll tell a lie. While no one's finding this, I'll tell you a story. Because I used to work in West End Theatre, and for the either 5th or the 10th anniversary of The Lion King in the West End, Disney Theatrical in London took a load of ticket agents... I was working for a ticket agent at the time, to Euro Disney, as it was then called. But for an after hours, like opened up some rides with no public in and just let us go to town and then treated us to a nice meal. And then there's a disco in the middle of like Euro Disney, like a nightclub, for all the people who are staying in the hotels. And there's just loads of ticket agents and, you know, people in their 30s and 40s and, you know, old West End queens. You know, I was podium dancing in Euro Disney, like off my tits, until like 2 a.m. And then the following day we got up and did loads of roller coasters again. Anyway, that's the only time I've ever been to a Disney resort. If I went now, being a mature, responsible adult, unlike I was when I last went to Euro Disney, with my 5-year-old, soon-to-be 6-year-old daughter, and she got one of those in the room, that would absolutely make her entire world. So, hats off to you.
That's the point. Yeah, that's fun. That was a fun little thing, and I never, that was the point. I mean, I didn't want to hear anything about it, but I just assumed and hoped that some good came out of it, in a sense.
It's an act of kindness.
I mean, luckily, I inspected a room, and I saw like a folder of, it looked like a 6th grader or 7th grader. It was just out and about, like on a desk, but it looked like it was art, like it was some kid's art, like they were doing themselves. And I was like, this is the perfect room. So I went to a little trolley that we had or whatever, and I had a bag and it had like one or two paintings in there. So I got one and left it in there, and I thought that was like, there, see, that's the perfect room. Hopefully the kid's not a butt, but hopefully he had a good day. But now
the parents went back in there and said, "Oh, Timmy, you're really good." No, it's not.
That's what I did.
No, Timmy, it's Timmy, not Ash. God, this kid, he can draw, but not the best, not the brightest. They're beautiful. Like, your welcome home stuff is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it really is. It's really cool.
It was fun. Hopefully some good came out of it for the short time.
I'm sure it did. I mean, I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, and my sister has autism and behavior issues and stuff like that. And we, the trip we take for her is to go to Disney like twice a year because we have the annual pass and we're like 4 hours away. And everyone at Disney has always been so nice and like really accommodating to her and stuff like that. So it's just always really nice.
After a while, because you got to smile. You got to smile a lot. And I'll give it off to anybody that works there that it goes through the rigmarole of customer service and being doing everything they can to make whoever goes to Disney their magical day and their moment. That's it's a very commendable effort, because I've seen a lot of bad stuff, a lot of good stuff, and it's crazy. It's a crazy experience, but yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, I've gone my whole life, and I mean, I didn't work there like you did, and I can't even imagine what that must be like. But I 100% know what you mean by the good and the bad, and like, because it's Florida, so you already have that problem there. But then you have people who are going who've like, spent their life savings to go on this one trip within 3 days. And, that's a lot of expectations to put on anything. But, in terms of what they do with people who are disabled and how they handle that stuff, I've always been super grateful, because those trips were always hard for me as a kid. But the people who are there, none of them were never not nice and kind. And I know they weren't making anything. And I've had friends who had to sleep in there. Dude, I remember that whole article when that started coming out. That was happening for years prior to when that stuff started coming out, because of the pay and how, the conditions and all that stuff. And it's rough, man. In Orlando, it's nice, but it's not like, there's some real poverty there. You know what I mean? Outside of Orlando.
Like a little mini California almost.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of shocked me at the time, because I didn't think, like, even this is fine to say, any of the supervisors that were above me, I mean, I thought they were getting decent pay, but when I found out, no, and they're all shacked up together. They're all still living like
roomies with each other.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and just something's wrong, man. I don't understand it, but either way, besides the point. Yeah, it's just
very nice thing to do.
The House of Mouse.
House of Mouse. Yeah,
the House of Mouse. Because I've worked on Disney on Ice for the longest time as well, so I've kind of
that's right.
A little bit of experience. I mean, that's arm's length. I'm not working directly for Disney, but still, I know how that rolls and how they work. Do you? You know what? It's gone. I was going to ask something else. It's completely gone, because I've just seen Gillian Anderson on your Instagram feed. This is what always happens, Ash. I scroll through someone's Instagram feed and it's gone. All power of speech leaves me. I
got a great question.
Go on.
Marvel character. Who do you in love with, man? Like who are some of your favorites?
Right now, it's Null.
That's a great one. Yeah.
But He's interesting, and I'm keeping him interesting in my head because I haven't read a comic at all on him. I just did like a quick YouTube information because I gotten a lot of AP or a lot of clients that just want to know because I guess he's not out there yet or anything like that. But I'll tell you right now, but for the Marvel Annual, I'm doing a lot of them. So, and it's an interesting character because his backstory and what he kind of led up to. But that, of course, Spider-Man. I love doing the whole fabric. Wrinkles.
That's so
you do it so well.
So well. Yeah, I was about to say.
I do like doing a lot of Wolverine. It's just for simple things. Just my own preference, meaning the claws and all this other stuff. Like how I can try to get the mask to look more real. Because my big background, I hate not to hate to say it, but like my inspiration that I've always kept was Alex Ross.
I've just typed that. I've just typed inspiration. Alex Ross ?
That's because it's weird, huh? That's because that's what I grew up with back in the 90s. I mean, because what I first saw was his run on Kingdom Come. And I was a freaking kid. I was like, what is this? This is awesome. But this is how it should look. And then his Marvel stuff. And when it came down to like, what am I going to do? Because I want to do something like this, but I don't want it to look like Alex Ross. I mean, I wasn't doing any watercolor. So I knew my stuff was going to look a little different from his because I was more of an oil painter, and I was going to stick to oil paint. When I tried watercolor, it's a little difficult for me because it's kind of a reversal of the method. But either way, beside the point. I always wanted to keep his method of inspiration in my head, but just put a little bit different thing on it, a little more edgier. I mean, his stuff is always great. And some of it's edgy too, but it's weird. It's like I have to meditate myself out of what he does and other artists do because I came across like I'll tell you right now, my main inspiration of artists, Marko Djordjevic. I don't know if you know him. He's a German artist from Germany. He did a lot of Marvel covers back in the day. Maybe the early 2000s. I loved his stuff, and his backstory is awesome. He said he just used to go out to parks and just draw because he didn't know how to draw. He said he started drawing from life, just watching people.
Oh wow!
And he did a lot of graphic design work on his covers, like a lot of weird shapes and stuff. If you ever look at his stuff, but he treated Photoshop like an oil painting canvas. That's what I loved about his work. And NATO, I don't know if you know his work. Phil NATO.
Oh, Noto. Well, I read it as Noto. Noto. Yeah.
I love his work. His style, his like 1960s retro kind of style that he does. It's awesome. I wish we'd make a whole Fantastic Four movie work.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then the last, there's two others. Gabriel Delotto.
Man. Yeah, man. Hey. Crazy. How insane is that? Just insane.
It's like I want to combine Alex and his work, and then right there, it's just his work is just. Everything he does is I love. And then it's his design, his composition.
The Secret Wars, the way he does Spider-Man, I mean, killer.
Love it, man. Yeah.
Love it.
The last one was, man, I cannot say his name to save my life. But I went to Comic-Con my first time, and I just stood behind his back for 5 hours just watching him paint. It was, it starts with the E, Etrick.
Esad Ribrick. Ribrick.
Yes, that guy.
No one's doing some show and tell now. Here he goes. He's off.
I gotta wait for this.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got a Phil Noto variant Black Cat.
This took forever. So you and I are a fan of him. So you're gonna flip. You ready?
So for those who can't see Norrin, what are you showing?
So this is a sketch card, and I was able to get him to do a sketch card. I begged and pleaded, wrote him like a 2-page letter.
Oh my gosh.
Is that not
awesome.
insane?
It's insane, man. I love his Silver Surfer work. His comic, that was the only reason why I bought it.
Requiem. It was
yes,
gorgeous.
Requiem was. I just love how his composition, his painting style, everything that he does, and it was a real pleasure just to come across him. It was like a gem. He was painting in this like dingy little corner, no lighting, no nothing, and then he was just going at it, and I was just in awe just watching him.
And it's watercolor, right?
Yeah,
all
watercolor gouache, and it just comes out the fly, just drawn on there, and it's coming. I was like, wow, this is epic. Oh, and I'll give you one more, because he's I met him one time. It was a real quick pleasure to meet him. I have his posters all over the place. He's a legend. Drew Struzan. He's I think he's the main one that kind of helped me in my process of drawing and everything, because I got his Hellboy tutorial on how he did his poster and stuff, and got his documentary of his posters, and I met him. That was like the best. I met him in Dallas. That was like the best moment that I've ever experienced meeting. He's like the most nicest guy, and I just love his humility. He's just so humble, and all he's focused on is the work. He's so focused, and that was like one inspiration that I was trying to like get his work ethic. And,
your King Kong poster is like your layout, your composition on that is gorgeous, man. Like that's killer. Like you have is it Kong? Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but it's like profile of him, and then the sun is in the background.
Yeah. So that was it was funny because there was an oil painting that I did for a client, and that was the first composition that I came up with. I was like, yeah, here's one. He didn't like that. He just wanted a simple Kong, and he looked like he was about to eat the guy standing on the skull. Oh. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll go with that. But I was going to keep that for a cover later on because I was like, this looks really good. And so I kind of took it from kind of concept of what would Drew do. And
I love it. I love it. I'd love to see some of that on like the Premiere stuff, man. Like the 5x7s, like do like a movie poster, like type like that with graphic design and like your ability. That'd be crazy cool. Like just like anything you think of, man. I really love your composition, dude. Just awesome.
I'll take that into account because I haven't thought about. I mean, I just got this yesterday. So
don't listen to me. You know more than me. I'm a bum. Don't do that. I'm fanboying over here. Don't listen to me.
I'm a bum. Listen, I'm still stuck on the fact that you wrote someone a 2-page letter. Have you got a copy of this letter?
I had to because like I have a copy of the letter. I like Rec Room meant a lot to me. Like growing up the way I did, Surfer is like a huge. It was just nice to read someone who wasn't like trying to beat the out of everybody. You know, it was more like always just trying to look for that peace and, you know, trying to be just calm. You know what I mean? And it was just really cool to read Requiem, and Requiem was this like giant goodbye. And it was really sweet. I thought they killed it. You know, I met the writer at GalaxyCon, the guy who did Babylon 5, Michael
Straczynski.
Sorry, I speech. I forget words. Straczynski. He's just really phenomenal, and he was such a nice writer. I'm like an idiot. I went up to him. I was like, man, I just want to say you just killed it with this. And he was like, well, technically I did kill him. And I just fell out. I was like,
see, I've never read it, so spoilers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Requiem.
It has been out for a while, so.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like 2008 or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, when, you know, so I hit up Izzet and I was just like, look, man, you have no idea. This art is like super special. I don't have like big pieces. I don't have a space for it. I only do cards. So I was like, you know, would you mind, blah, blah, blah. But it was really cool. So really cool piece. But yeah, man, it totally makes sense. All your influences. It's just so funny to see your stuff now because I'm just like, oh wow, I can see Ash everywhere, but now I can see what Ash has been like working so hard on. You know what I mean? Like bringing everything in there and making it so unique. Like just very cool, man. Very cool to hear the influences.
Well, it was the cloth on Spider-Man that tipped me off.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I made a suit. So one day I made up this like little comic strip because it always annoyed me back in the when the Raimi movies came out. Granted, at the time it came out, I dug it. Because it was the only Spider-Man movie that ever came out that was like high budget and all that jazz. So I give it a pass. But then when he made his suit, it took me out of the movie. I'm like, hey, no, that's not real. I mean, it just didn't make sense because I was just being too literal about it. But I started taking pictures of myself because I wanted to make like just a short comic strip of him sewing the suit, hanging on the wall, doing other like making the lens, another shot of him like hanging upside down, sewing the pants together, trying to like stretch it out and all this other jazz, like physically making his suit out of nothing. And when I came to making the lenses, I wanted to do that too. Like how he picks the glasses, he picks this like piece of rubber, he's cutting the rubber, all this stuff. So when I physically made it, I put it on, I was taking pictures, I was fixing the wrinkles or whatever of the sewing. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use these for like later. So I tucked them away in my archive. And then when the cards came around, I was like, I got something. So I was like, I took it out.
Brilliant.
That's clever.
Yeah.
That's really clever. I think my favorite costume building scene in a movie has to be Michelle Pfeiffer doing Catwoman.
Yes. Oh, yes.
In Batman Returns. I mean, it's just like I was showing it to my students, that scene, because I was like, you don't understand when you watch the beginning of the movie, it says hello Kitty or hello something. Hell's here, so it's hello something. But anyway, so at the beginning of the movie, you kind of see her place, and I forget the phrase now, but she's in her place, and it's super pink, and obviously, like, she's distant from her family, but they're super imposing, and you just got these really great insights into her character. And then when she comes home after she's pushed off the ledge, which is just such a great line, when you're actually pushed over the edge, she comes home, and you can just see her going through, and the cats are like going through the apartment and the dollhouse. She's spray painting it black, and she just gets the leather, and you just see like the hair's all, and it's Michelle Pfeiffer. She's like, she does that whole like nozzle mouth thing where she's like really into it. At one point, you're just like, you got it, Michelle. And it's just such a great moment. I think that has to be one of my favorites, if not my favorite costume making moment. So good. But all the realism's there, right? Like, I agree. Like, I definitely get that.
You're seeing it being made out of nothing, stuff that she has around the house, what she made out of the nails.
Yeah, the nails, the thumb, and the thumbnails or whatever for sewing. It's just
like you're going to see Tobey Maguire gluing each webbing on the. Nah, man. But that was just that's me being a butt about it.
By the way, Ash, you're probably, because I know you've just looked at it, I just sent you a random photo on our chat on Messenger, and you're probably thinking, why has he just sent me that? I don't know if you've noticed, but in the Marvel Masterpieces collectors group, I do a daily masterpiece post, and it's a base card from any of the sets. And then on Sunday we do Sunday sketch masterpiece, and so I people submit sketch cards to it, or they usually do. It's been a bit light of late, so I put a call out last week and said, look, I haven't been one for a couple of weeks because no one's submitting any, and all of a sudden I got loads of people sending them in, and someone has submitted one for tonight that I want to use tonight rather, and it's one of yours. And he goes to me, I said, who's the character? And he goes, I'm not entirely sure. And he goes, all right, I'll ask Ash. And he said, yeah, that's probably a more reliable source. So, who is that character?
The Spider Woman it's another version, I think, of Spider Woman, because I went through a lot of looking up all the different variants of Spider, all these women that are Spider Women, and granted they had a lot of different names for them, and I'm like, wow, I would have never known that, but the suit was different, and I was trying to think. I had to make sure that it just wasn't like an offshoot cosplay that someone made up the color scheme. So I really had to look up, okay, is this an actual suit? And yeah. And so the only difference that I did with that is I didn't want to put the lenses. I wanted to show her eyelids and balls and whatever she had on there. And that was the only difference. The suit is a legit, I think it was like a Mary Jane variant.
Yeah. Wow.
Quote me if I'm wrong, because I mean, I didn't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole. I just wanted to find out, is it a legit suit? Yes. Okay, I'm using it. Then I'll just tweak it the way I want.
It's amazing.
It's great.
And the guy who owns this is just, the luckiest. It really reminds me of the face, because it looks like a little bit like the actress Sally Hawkins to me, who was in Shape of Water. Yeah, it really reminds me of her, and I don't know if if it's just an imagined face, or if it is a photo reference of anyone, but it just really struck me when I saw it.
I like the silhouette a lot.
My method, I guess we can go down that deep hole. Let me hold it real quick. Let's get my charger just in case. So my method for how I go about my work is, if I don't have a photo of it, like of myself or like a friend or whatever, I'll just go out and I'll look for stock photos. But it has to be a certain look that I'm looking for. I just don't pick some random fashion model that looks like this or whatever. But
sorry,
I love it.
It almost went blue steel there for a minute. That was brilliant.
They have to have a certain look, and it has to have a certain like position that I might be interested in. That you really, because every pose that you probably ever could think of in a superhero pose or stance or whatever has been done to hell. And so I was always wanted. If it's something interesting that somebody has not seen or done, I'll look for that. It has to be a certain, like I said, a look on their face, and if it matches up to a character that I have in mind. So that's a lot of digging through stock photos if I'm going through that method. And then if I see something interesting, then I'll set it aside and then see if I can work with it. And that's about it. It's funny because most of like there was a squirrel girl that I did for Masters, I think. And that was a friend that I worked with at Galaxy Z. So I texted her, say, hey, you want to be on a card? She's like, yeah, sure. When I was like, pick your character, whoever you want to be, and whatever. And she couldn't think of nothing. So I asked her, I was like, well, what about Squirrel Girl? Because I don't think I really haven't dug into like any artists or sketch cards like out there. So I was like, I haven't really thought about or seen a Squirrel Girl. So let's do this. What about that? So I said, get in this pose, take a picture, send it to me, and I'll work with it. So that's what happened. And there is a picture out there. It's my daughter. I'm looking for it. Is anybody out there that's seen it? I want it. Just miss it. I'm pointing at the camera. I want it. It's a picture of my daughter. Is X23. And it's the picture. It's the picture of her just sitting on a couch, just randomly, and I got the blades sticking out. But it's funny because we were watching a movie, and I just looked at her, and I was like, "Stand still." I went to get my camera, and then
I see
that became like an X23.
I love it.
That's brilliant. Oh, we'll pop that on the tasting notes.
It's like quick moments like that I would take or whatever. Like my son, he's really stringy, and so he looks weirdly like Tom Holland. I don't know how I produced that, but he. So I was thinking of drawing him as like in Spider-Man poses without the mask and stuff. So I was going to do that, like a Spider Kid, like Ultimate Spider-Man. So I was going to do that for I think I'm going to do it for Premiere because I don't have enough time for annual.
Well, if ever you want Noah and I to pose for Spider Ham, we've kind of got the build for it. So we could do that.
I got more of a noir build. How dare you, sir? Okay? How dare you?
I was wondering if you were going to write that one.
No, I'll go Ham.
Ash, I can see you in a couple of your cards. And what intrigues me about this is you obviously saw, I'm assuming it's obvious, Dave Palumbo's work for Masterpieces. And there's a number of cards where you can clearly see it's him.
Yeah.
Wizard is a prime example that springs to mind, and it's clearly him. I'm looking at a couple of your sketch cards from Masterpieces 2020, and I can see you in at least two of them. And we're going to play a game of Ash. Is it you? Because I like to randomly make up games. So I'm looking, first of all, because I'm on your Instagram, because your Instagram is life for me right now. I'm looking at a card of Legion.
Yes, that's me.
Thought so. There we go. Right. So 1 point to me. And 1
point to me. I love it.
Now, there's another character, and I don't actually know who this character is because it's paired with a card of Domino, and you used hashtag Domino, but you didn't actually use a hashtag for who the other character is. So I've no idea who the other character is. And this is pointless because I'm looking at it and you're probably not. So, yeah.
Because I can't. I just passed by the Freddie Prinze Jr. Jedi.
You've gone
great.
right down the rabbit hole then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the Instagram post on the chat. So I've just sent it. So if you can figure out where the Skype chat box is, you're a braver person than I am. Or I could just share my screen. Because Ash has picked
Shadow Star or Lone Star, right?
Don't know. I'm going to share my screen. Screw it. I don't care.
Cable?
Possibly. Right.
The Domino has a great facial structure. That's a really cool one.
Yes, it does.
I like that.
Can you see that, Ash?
That's me.
That's you. That's good.
Yeah, 2 points to me. Right. So who's the character?
You're the only one getting points, by the way. This is unfair.
Yeah.
I think it was like Longstar or the guy that worked with MODOK.
Yeah, Lone Star or Shatterstar. Shatterstar, maybe.
I think Shatterstar was the guy from X-Force.
Yeah.
Is he the?
Yeah. No, that's not Shatterstar.
I think that's I wanted to do a lot of him because I think he's like a really cool character when I was watching the X-Men cartoon series for the short period of time that he was on that cartoon, and I haven't seen a lot of him there, so I wanted to do a couple of them. That's the one that I did for Black Diamond is the one I really like. Where all the hands are like touching all the like the groupies are touching him and stuff.
I haven't seen that one.
I'll up to those in a minute. And you've got some Black Diamond. I tell you what, the other thing about that piece is that piece really spoke to me from Kingdom Come as well. Something about that piece and the way the light's falling on it. Just kind of when I was scrolling through.
Yeah. And at the time, because I was working on a vampire comic book, and I needed to get some lighting. And that cover, I mean, that picture and the one for Legion was shot at the same time. So I was like, I'm just going to use these.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, it's and that's the one that we were talking about just now, the Spider Girl. There we go, Spider Girl.
Spider Girl. And there's JD. Happy to see you.
Yes. See, we know all these people, Ash.
We know all these guys.
Everyone.
These dangerous collector people.
It's all connected, and you're in it now, son.
That's great. Of course he's there.
What was I going to say?
Kate Beckinsale. I mean, all your stuff's good, man. This is so fun to look through this stuff.
And you see, this is why we don't often share screen, because it just becomes
because we get just super distracted.
And we get super distracted. But I just love them. There is a black cat that you did. There's a lot of black cats that you did, but there's one particular black cat. I was going to ask you if that was someone specific that modelled it, but that sounds a bit creepy when I say that out loud.
One black cat that I'll tell you off screen who it is. I'm going to say it on.
That's awesome.
It's just
Yeah, that's just a random model.
In fact, hey, someone's tagged me on it. That's me commenting. Damn, son.
That's hilarious. Damn, son. Of course.
One day.
I love it.
I love it, Ash. It's brilliant. If Marvel themselves picked up the call and said, do you want to do some variant covers?
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Could you see that? Could you see that coming in? Because I tell you what, some of the cover work that I've seen you doing on your Instagram feed, it brings to mind some of the work that E.M. Gist has been doing on his cover work for Marvel, and we had him on the show last year, I think, Norrin, and he was just delightful to talk to.
Check that show for.
Yeah,
I'll say you do know the number for it, but I think I'll find it with the name.
Yeah, you'll definitely find it. I can probably find it by doing a little search here on my computer. But it's always really good podcast listening for people when I actually go off and try and find something on my computer while
you can hear the typing.
You can hear the cogs whirring. It's episode 57. Ash, there you go.
Cool. Huh? Thank you, sir.
No problem at all. We aim to please. Ash, where can people find you online if they want to reach out to you, get a commission, eyeball your stuff?
I'm stuck in one place, and one place I'm at. You can find me on my Instagram at Fine Art by Ash, and I'm not a hard guy to talk to.
Not at all, brother.
You're not.
You're a rock star.
I did find your old Twitter account, by the way, and started following you earlier on, but I could tell from the date of the post that...
Yeah, I'm about to close it. I'm never on it. It doesn't matter. And I'm like...
It's Twitter.
I love it.
So I find Twitter's kind of hard. I mean, some people really dig it. I mean, Greg, Rebel Bass Card, he's all over Twitter and he gets loads of engagement, and it's really good. But I find it really difficult. Of all the channels that we use to market the podcast, it's the one that gets the least.
Yeah, I mean, I post certain things on Twitter and nothing happens. It's like I guess I'm just not understanding how Twitter works or something like that. So I just and from the things I also hear about is just there's a lot of weird and awful people on Twitter, so I just stay away from Twitter.
Same.
Well, that's kind of the internet, but a lot of them go to Twitter to be.
A lot of them are on Twitter, though. Like if there was an alleyway you don't want to walk down to with something.
It's Twitter.
Twitter's kind of that alley.
Yeah. I mean, especially given whatever your political spectrum, especially in the last kind of 4 or 5 years, opening Twitter has literally been like it's a hive of scum and villainy because it's so polarizing.
It's not that cool, though. You know what I mean? Like,
it's scum and villainy, that's the thing. It's not cool.
Cantina in Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of cool.
But it's not cool. But it is full of people who've been like, you don't want to have independent thought. We don't want to have independent thought. You can go on there and spout stuff that's not true. We can go on there and spout stuff that's not true. You know what I mean? It is literally like Alec Guinness kind of, shining them on as they're in their Stormtrooper outfits. It's a scary, scary place. And yet, there are some beautiful people on Twitter as well. Bill Sienkiewicz is really active on Twitter. And we wouldn't have had him on the show were it not for that. So, it's worth sticking around, Ash. Stick around, Ash. At least until I can tag your Twitter account for our post, and then you can close it down. So there we go. Yeah, that's all right. I'll hang on till Thursday then.
I'm sometimes usually on Facebook, but I'm more accessible on Instagram.
Yeah,
because when I was at Galaxy's Edge, everybody communicated through Facebook to do shift change. So I was never on Facebook until then. So I was like, and then I just stayed on Facebook. But I'm really more on Instagram. But yeah, that's a funny way of being on Facebook. Weird.
Yeah. Well, they are kind of connected. I mean, they are connected. So Ash, do you? Last question, and then I think we'll probably wrap up. Do you find yourself tempted to start collecting some of the cards again? I mean, your own notwithstanding.
Yes. because I really loved Dave's artwork, and I really wanted, and especially what they did with his work to where it looked like a comic cover, where they slapped on the logo of the cover.
The What If. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool of what they did, and I wanted to get back into it, but then I was like so busy with my own stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ever have time to collect.
It's a lot of stuff.
Like, what do you do with all these comics? Because I got books right here, being like my end table, holding my brushes of comics and stuff, and I was like, what are you gonna do? I was like, well, I gotta sit down and evaluate it all. And I was like, and I was thinking, oh man, it's gonna turn into a whole process. So it's kind of it's a debate. So I'm kind of left up to where I'm just gonna make own cards and then make other people happy. I guess that whole Disney philosophy is kind of coming right back into play. But
where everyone's a guest.
Yes, I was closely tempted to, and then I saw what Black Diamond did, and all these little trinkets on these cards that they're giving out. Are these cards like that thick in order to have a piece of material in it? I don't understand.
Yeah. So they're not like that thick, but they're probably like a quarter of that. So they're like 100 point. I don't know how that's, maybe like a quarter of an inch, something like that, or like some cards can be like half an inch. I assume that's like right now crazy.
So I don't have any Black Diamond cards, but I do have one from Marvel Gems from a few years ago, and this was, I think, the first Marvel set, because they're called lab manufactured diamonds. So what that means, I don't know. But Marvel Gems, I think, was the first set where Upper Deck did it in Marvel cards, because I don't think it's a new thing to cards. And that's a triple diamond from Marvel Gems. And if you look, it's pretty chunky. That's over 100 point. That's thicker than Masterpieces 2020, for example. So yeah, that's a thick card. I mean, you could put that on the bottom of your shoes if you wanted, to give you that extra kind of lift to get on some of the rides at Disney if you're a short ass. But yeah, they are pretty thick, and the ones with the costume material in from the movies, they're just as thick. Yeah, they're really thick. So, but they're beautiful cards.
Yeah, those came out really well. The signature cards, because I'm sort of into all that, and I thought that was pretty cute. Cards
they're nice. They're really pretty.
They are really pretty.
Nice.
I mean, they are.
Great.
It's a top end set, so it's a very, very expensive rabbit hole to go down should you decide to collect any of those things. However, I've just shut my microphone cable in my in my case. That's embarrassing. Let's not do that live on air. I'm now complete. It
could have been worse, Ian.
I've become one with my case, and not in the way that no one's alluding to. Ash,
just imagine Videodrome with you in your briefcase.
Oh, yeah, all the fly, yeah, Brundle fly. Do you, Ash, if you needed some Marvel Masterpieces 2020 cards, I'm sure that people listening will have spares. They can probably just make sure they find their way to you. I certainly have got about 10 of them that you can have, and I will mail them to you on Tuesday when I go to the post box. So there's no reason for you to not have some Dave Palumbo artwork in your hand.
I feel like this is a coach. She's trying to get me just a little taste of card collecting again. And then,
don't worry about that. Yeah. You just call me. You don't worry about that.
You just got to take care of you.
Don't. We got you. Don't worry about it. You don't need food. I bring you food. Don't worry about it.
Like back to the people who are going, got any APs? Got any APs? Come on. Give me some of the AP. It's like a crack in the 80s in LA. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. We should probably wrap up on that rather dark note, shouldn't we?
It's worse.
It's worse.
Ash, my friend, you get the final word.
Enjoy collecting, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. Visuals and tasting notes for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. You can subscribe and leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast can be found by Googling at the MCC Pod, which will also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Our Facebook community is at MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.